All right. Hey, ladies. All right. We've got a great topic today, one that I think will resonate with a lot of us in the group because this is something, especially if you're born in the 70s, 80s, 90s, these were things that we've had to deal with in terms of diet culture, right? And so let's get right into it. So, what to do when the scale won't move, and this is without eating less. So this is an extremely important topic because a lot of the time, the second that the scale stalls, most of the time I see women immediately panic and think, I need to slash and eat less calories, right? And that's usually not the answer. So let's take a first look at the scale. The scale is a terrible short-term reporter. Your body has fluctuates daily because of either sodium, hormone, stress, sleep, digestion, workouts, water retention, or your monthly cycle. So you could literally be doing everything right and the scale can still act dramatic and go up half a pound or swing down 2 pounds or swing up 3 pounds. So what usually I see women doing wrong is that, let's say the scale doesn't move for 4 days. They're just staying right at the same weight. They slash the calories, or they up their cardio, or they skip breakfast, skip meals. They get frustrated. Maybe they go into a screw it, I'm just going to go binge. If I'm not having any progress, I might as well eat that Mexican food or have crumble cookie. And then they get back on that cycle that repeats and they get stuck in that kind of negative habit loop of slash calories, overconsume, frustration, slash calories, stay on track for a couple of days and then start all over. So that's not fat loss, right? That would be an emotional reaction to what the scale number is saying, right? So we are having an emotional reaction to this number on a machine, and then we are letting it dictate what you do to your plan. So you aren't, from what you see on that number, you're assuming that there's no fat loss, right? We're having this emotional action happen. So before we cut food or go into a spiral, we need to ask ourselves some really important questions like, am I actually consistent? So am I hitting my protein? Am I moving every day? And am I moving enough? You could be like, well, I go for a walk and I get 5,000 steps, but how long have you been doing that? Has that been the MO for the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, 2 weeks? Then you might need to up that because that might not be enough anymore because our bodies are extremely good at adapting. Are you sleeping? Are you tracking accurately? So are you making sure you're weighing your food with a food scale? Are you weighing it with your eyes? Are you just using hand portions? Are you using tablespoons and cups? Are you being accurate with the measurement terms you're using? Are you overeating on the weekends? So if you're doing amazing Monday through Thursday, but then you're doing, whatever you want Friday through Sunday, that is only giving you 4 out of 7 days. And so that's 57%. That's an F, guys. So if you are keeping everything great Monday through Thursday, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday come along, sorry, I did that math wrong. It's still not good. Hold on a second. You're at 71%, so that's a C. But still, that's not where we want to be. We've had conversations where we want to be 80% or better, right? We need to be living in that 80% or better in order to see results come from the work you're doing. If you're living in the C's, get degrees, and you're doing a lot of FDCs, your percentages are in that range, you're not going to have as much accuracy and you're not going to get as much results like you're wanting. So weekends can be a make or breaker. Are you stressed out of your mind? So what is your stress like? I mean, do you have a stressful job where you just cannot handle the workload or the stress load or whatever it is? Or do you have family stress, or do you have, a relationship stress? Whatever it is, where are you stressed? Figure it out. How can you manage that stress better? Because sometimes the issue isn't our metabolism. It's inconsistency disguised as effort. So you may feel like you're being consistent But when I look at your guys' progress reports, or I break down everything that you're inputting into the app, we can really see where the inconsistency is almost immediately. And so you can't disguise that effort, right? Now, if you're doing stuff and you're not logging it, then yeah, you're not accurately portraying what you're doing. But things we need to focus on instead are, how can we increase our daily movement? So most of the time we underestimate how powerful walking is. Just adding anywhere from 2 to 3,000 more steps a day, which can be as simple as a 20-minute walk or a 30-minute walk, and you can split that up into 10, 10, 10. You walk 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes in the evening. That's 30 minutes, and that could add 2 to 3,000 steps more. So short walks after meals are great for digestion. Movement snacks during work. So like if you are somewhere and you can walk to go get your lunch, or you can, eat at the park and then do a couple laps around the park, doing stuff like that. Walking helps you get in more cardio without frying your nervous system. So you're not doing hours on the treadmill. You're not doing a ton of high intensity spin classes. So we have to be careful that we're not overtaxing our system with too hard of cardio. Then number 2 is that we want to build more muscle. The more muscle you have, the better your metabolism functions, the better your body composition looks. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to feel tighter. We have to stop chasing the idea of smaller and start chasing the idea of stronger. And then let the training shape your body. So eat more strategically. So sometimes women are under eating all day and then overeating at night. And balanced meals often work better than restriction. So I find the people that feed themselves at least 3 meals a day, 3 to 4 meals a day, and rise, have breakfast, and then every 3 to 4 hours they're eating a meal or a snack, it helps prevent overeating late in the day or evening. So just think about a day where you didn't eat very much all day, and then you came home and you ate everything in the pantry plus your dinner, and then at 8:30, 9:30 you're still rummaging around looking. It's because your body said, we had a really stressful, hard day, and now it's time to put in the work, right? I gotta make back the calories that we weren't able to get in throughout the day. And then it often leads to overeating that we can't control because it's just such a strong hunger drive. Whereas if we eat frequent small meals that are every 3 to 4 hours, it helps stabilize our blood sugar, it helps keep us off the roller coaster, and it also prevents that late night, because if you don't come to dinner just starving out of your mind, it's a lot easier to control what you eat for dinner. You eat your portions, and then you have your, little nightcap, whether you drink a little, like Diet Pepsi or something like that, or you just, have a tea and get ready for bed, that kind of thing. So we need to also track more than our weight. If we look at measurements, like tape measurements, a lot of us are doing that. If we look at our energy in terms of, can we track our energy? Am I feeling like an 8, 9, 10? I'm feeling amazing. Or I'm feeling like a 3, 4, 5. I'm feeling kind of, low on the energy scale. That's important, right? If we look at how our strength develops over time. So when you add your workouts and you add how much poundage you're doing to your squats, for your dumbbell squats, I'm using the 15s. Next week I use the 20s. In 2 weeks from then I use the 30s. That's showing that your body is getting stronger. That is progress over time. Whereas you might weigh the same thing for a week straight, but you got a PR and lifted heavier weight. Something's happening there, right? Photos are a great one because that really can show you the actual composition change, the shape of your body, how your clothes fit, pants, shirts, sports bras, underwear, or the underwear tied on your booty cheeks. If they're starting to get a little looser on the booty cheeks, something's happening, right? How are you recovering? Are you sore for 3, 4 days, or are you recovering in 1, maybe 2 days at the most? How do you feel confidence-wise? Let's see. The scale is just one data point, and I want you to think of it, it's not your self-worth report card. This is the hard truth, that fat loss is incredibly boring, and all it is consistency over time. It's not punishment. We just want to remember that a plateau doesn't mean you're failing or that you're a failure or that your plan isn't working. It's sometimes your body is adjusting, recovering, and recomposition is happening. It just doesn't stand out immediately on the scale like we have been trained to assume that it should, right? So my final challenge for you this week is do not respond emotionally to the scale. And this is easier said than done, right? It's easier saddled than rode, right? So how we can work on this is, one, I encourage you to weigh yourself every day, input it into the app as a body stat, and then you can look at the trend on the graph in your progress. And what that will show you is whether you are truly at a plateau where it's just the straight across. You're going to want like 60 days worth of data. If you do 1 week, okay, that's cool. We got some. But I want you to think of it, most of us are women that have monthly cycles, right? And we need to see what happens with that data in there. 1 month is good. We got some starting information. 2 months is good. That kind of gives us a better picture. Really, ideally, we're looking at 3 to 6 months of information can really tell us what's happening and what's trending and what happens. Because if you notice, like, oh, I bump up right around, that's my cycle time. I bump up 2 to 3 pounds. Then I drop 2 to 3 pounds, and then I level out. And then my weight goes at a consistent, little trickle down, trending downward. And then it goes up again on the next period, and then down again, and then the next month comes. But you're still overall trending in the way that's down, then you know you're making true progress. But what is hard for us is from month to month, we're like all over the place, and then you think, man, nothing's happening here, or this is just crazy. But really, you're so zeroed in on the day before, the day after, the week that you're in, that you can't zoom out enough to see the trend. So I encourage you to log your weight every single day into the app. Get that information in there, the sooner the better, because then you have a scale to look at and you can zoom out. And more importantly, I can look at it and zoom out and be a third party that looks at it and says, hey, you are trending in the right way. Chill out. Don't get emotional about it because you're going in the right way. Now, if I can look at it and say, hey, you're starting to plateau, we need to switch things up, that's part of my job, right? We see a plateau. We're not seeing any change on your measurements. We're not seeing any change on your weight. This has caveats though. Are you showing up for your workouts? Are you doing your walking? Are you tracking your food? If those 3 things also aren't being done as best that they can, then we have a hole, right? So those are the behaviors that we have to work on improving consistently, and that's where the real progress lives, is in those things. So I would encourage you that don't let the scale give you an emotional, any emotional power over you. Use these. Just remember, the scale is a short-term reporter, and it's terrible at its job. Okay, so also one I didn't put on here is, did you take a dump? Because if you haven't pooped, you could be full of poop, right? And that literally can weigh, depending on what you got going on, it could weigh a lot more than you think it does. So be careful. Make sure you're getting your fiber in so things are moving. That's under digestion there. I should put that in there. /poop. But anyway, okay, so I hope this kind of helps you to get a better relationship with the scale. I know a lot of us struggle with it and put a lot of effort into getting that thing to move, when in reality, we need to kind of take a step back and not let it make us so emotional and let it affect us from deviating from our plan. We need to work on consistently performing and achieving the plan. When you can do it at 80 to 100% compliance, and you can repeat that for, 90 days, then you can have an opinion about, hey, there's something wrong with this plan. But we never really get there because something is always falling out of the consistency loop, whether it's training, whether it's tracking, whether it's nutrition, whether it's steps, whether it's cardio. It's a lot of plates to juggle, and so we're always going to be consistently working to be 80 to 100% doing the best that we can, right? And we're not going to let this have an emotional drive that triggers you into slashing calories and eating less. That's the main takeaway, okay, guys? All right, drop any ahas, insights, or if you had a moment that gave you the light bulb, Drop it in the comments. I'm always curious to hear what you found resonated with you and helped you, get a little connection with the brain and the body. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.